said it. 8 words, and the entire tennis world stopped breathing. She is the future of world tennis. That was the bombshell nobody saw coming. But here's what nobody told you. The story behind why Federer said it is even bigger than the quote itself. A 20-year-old girl from the Philippines, a name most of the world couldn't pronounce 2 years ago, and now, the greatest tennis player who ever lived is pointing at her and saying, that one. Before you scroll away, ask yourself this: what does it take to earn the blessing of a god? Stay with us, because the answer will change the way you see Alex Eala forever. To understand why Roger Federer's words hit like a thunderbolt, you first have to understand where Alex Eala came from, and more importantly, what she was told she could never become. The Philippines is not a tennis country. That's not an insult, it's just the reality that every Filipino athlete who has ever held a racket has had to wrestle with. Tennis in Southeast Asia has long been the sport of privilege, of country clubs, of children who grow up watching Wimbledon on satellite TV and dreaming dreams that their coaches quietly tell them are too big. The Philippines produces boxing champions, basketball legends, resilient, unbreakable warriors, but Grand Slam champions? That conversation had never even started. Alexandra Maniego Eala was born on May 23, 2005, in Quezon City, Philippines. She is the daughter of businessmen Mike Eala and Risa Maniego Eala, a former national swimmer and longtime CFO of one of the country's biggest telecommunications companies. Her maternal grandfather, Bobby Maniego, put a racket in her hand when she was 4 years old. That detail matters because the foundation of everything you are about to hear was laid on a quiet court in the Philippines by a grandfather who believed in something the rest of the world wasn't ready to see yet. At 13 years old, Alex Eala moved to Spain. She enrolled at the Rafael Nadal Academy in Monaco, the same institution that has shaped some of the toughest competitors on the planet. Think about that for a moment. 13 years old, thousands of miles from home, foreign language, a foreign culture, and the task of becoming a professional tennis player in a country where tennis royalty was not just expected, it was demanded. She graduated from the academy in 2023, and between those years, she wasn't just learning forehands and backhands, she was building a mental armor that would later help her stand on the biggest courts in the world and not flinch. By 2022, the world got its first real hint that this kid was something different. At the U.S. Open Juniors, 17-year-old Alex Eala won the girls' singles title, becoming the first Filipino to win a Grand Slam Junior Championship. Back home in Manila, people wept in living rooms. Fathers texted their daughters. A nation that had been waiting for a tennis champion for its entire modern history had finally found one. But a junior title is just a prologue. The real story hadn't even begun. Her early professional years were humbling. Rankings in the 200s, qualifying losses, early exits in ITF events that nobody streams and few people watch. The kind of grind that breaks most young players before they ever get to the stage where the lights are bright and the crowds are loud. In 2024, her ranking hovered around 143 at its best. Respectable, but nowhere near the conversation of someone who would one day make Roger Federer reach for his phone. And yet, she kept going. Every single day. Because here's the thing about Alex Eala that her stats don't fully capture. She was trained in the same academy that gave the world Rafael Nadal's relentlessness. That work ethic wasn't just absorbed, it was installed. What happened next? It would shake the entire WTA tour, and nobody predicted it was coming this fast. You think you know the Cinderella story? You don't, because in 2025, Alex Eala didn't just enter the ball, she set the entire palace on fire. March 2025, the Miami Open. One of the most prestigious hard-court events in the world, sitting just below Grand Slam status in terms of prestige and importance. The draw is stacked. The favorites are established. The narrative is already written, or so everyone thought. Alex Eala entered Miami as a wild card, ranked 140th in the world, the kind of player that tournament officials give a spot to because they want Filipino fans filling the stands. A crowd draw, not a genuine title contender. At least, that was the assumption. Then, she played. In the first round, she defeated her opening opponent. Fine, wild cards do that sometimes. Then in the second round, she beat Yelena Ostapenko, a former French Open champion. People started paying attention. Then she beat Madison Keys, the reigning Australian Open champion. The whispers became shouts. And then she did something that made every tennis analyst on the planet do a double take. She beat IGA Swiatek, world number 2.